I'm in Cannes Lions this year, like every year, because it's the biggest week of the year for us from a business development standpoint. We get a chance to meet about 100 different people, I think, is what we have on the agenda for the week. So it's just a great way to do business in a great context, setting, amazing location, great weather. What's there not to like? We started as a company 7 years ago with what was pretty much just an idea. Today we're one of the most recognized identity company in the space. We work with the biggest player in the industry. Digital advertising is probably one of the fastest growing verticals, I think, in business. And we're lucky to be part of it. We see a lot of applications of AI in advertising in general. We're not in the generative AI world. We're not in creative. We're not in all of those things. However, we do a lot of advanced custom models for our clients. We provide connections between the different devices that people use to kind of go online, and we're able to connect that together at a household level. And so those connections can be made very custom by building different models for each of our clients. So identity is really fundamental to advertising performance, right? It's about talking to the right person in the right context at the right time. And identity is really the component that gives you that right person element. And it really contributes to the entire promise that advertising has for brands, which is generating results, which is improving the way they talk to their clients, which is layering data on top of advertising interactions, and also measuring what people do after they've seen an ad and how advertising can actually move the needle from a results, outcome, sales performance. Engagement with customers, right? Getting into a healthy dialogue about the type of data you're going to collect about them and what you're going to do with them is not optional. It should be kind of part of the initial kind of respect contract that you have with your visitors, with your audience, with your customers. And some people have been playing with the line of the regulation and say, oh, in this particular jurisdiction, I don't have to do that, so I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to keep it under wrap, right? I don't have to disclose what I'm going to do, so I'm not going to disclose it. I think it's taking customers for fools to some extent and taking, not considering them to be adults. I think people understand the trade-off. People understand that advertising is a business model that pays for content and services. Just be transparent about it and tell them for advertising to work, we need to understand who you are and what you're interested in. And if you've got kids, right? We're not going to show up at your door. We're not going to steal your credit card number. We're not going to follow you around. But it's a trade-off, right? You like that content, you like that video, that show, you want to interact with it, you don't want to pay for it, which is understandable. Well, advertisers are going to pay for it, but we need to make that work, and so it has to be like a balanced relationship. And so I think being clear about data collection practices, asking for consent, being transparent about what you're going to do with the data, minimizing personal data. Do not collect everything you need just because everything you can, because you might need it at some point. I think all of those practices are things that should be a lot more ingrained into a brand and publishers' kind of approach to personal data. And consent and privacy are not necessarily things that you should shy away from. It's something that you should embrace and that should be part of the baseline of your discussion with your customers. So in the next 2 years, AI is probably going to change behaviors of people and how they interact with content and how they consume content, but probably less than we think. However, the longer term of those new ways of accessing content and services, new ways of using devices, new devices are going to appear. I think that the longer term impact is going to be fundamental. And I think we have to think about what the advertising contract is between brands and customers. And how to evolve it for an AI-driven world where AI agents are able to do a lot of the grunt work that people are doing today to kind of understand product and services they need and compare and contrast prices and things like that. So advertising will have to play a different role in that context, where websites will probably take a different shape at some point, where search is not going to be the search we've been using for the past 25 years. So all of this is going to change. I don't think it's going to change in 12 to 18 months, though. I think it's a longer term transformation that we're witnessing. But we'll definitely have to adapt to it in the next 5 to 10 years for sure.